many of them. You can't kill a world.
Interesting facts about famous people.
Despicable villains in westerns, the Black Hats. You will know some of these despicable, dastardly, and downright mean characters that graced the western genre. The bad guys that made the white-hatted good guys look heroic by shooting down or locking up these curses of the Wild West. A memorable villain can elevate a good western to classic status and a normal one to something special. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Let's get into it in no particular order. Jack Palance, often exemplified evil incarnate on film, playing some of the most intense villains in 1950s westerns, exaggerated by his tall, powerful build, icy voice, and piercing eyes. Earning 2 nominations early in his career, Best Supporting Actor, for Sudden Fear, 1952, and as Jack Wilson in Shane, 1953, scoring a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for City Slickers, 1992. A dispassionate, cold, professional killer who obviously enjoys his work. You'll know him when you see him. Packs 2 guns, a lean dude with a black hat. Robert Mitchum, a leading man of impressive ability who hides his talents beneath an air of disinterest. As preacher Jonathan Rudd in 5-Card Stud, 1968. Although Mitchum's role is a somewhat watered-down version of his Harry Powell in The Night of the Hunter, he's still menacing enough to ensure that God's house will be filled to capacity every Sunday. He claimed his famous eyes were the result of a combination of injuries from his boxing days and chronic insomnia, which he suffered from throughout his life. His arrest for marijuana possession in the late 1940s was one of the first times a major actor had been jailed for this crime. According to Lee Server's 2001 biography, Robert Mitchum, "Baby, I don't care. He was still smoking pot into his old age." Dan Duryea, educated at Cornell University and worked in the advertising business before pursuing his career as an actor. As Waco Johnny Dean in Winchester 73, 1950, the perpetual juvenile delinquent who thinks that robbing a bank is no more a crime than stealing from a candy store. In marked contrast to his screen persona as a ruthless, merciless, even psychotic killer, he was a passionate gardener, was active in the PTA at his children's school, and was a scoutmaster for the local Boy Scout troop. In Winchester 73, 1950, he played Waco Johnny Dean, the nemesis of the protagonist, Lynn McAdams. In the made-for-TV remake, Winchester 73, 1967, he played Bart McAdams. Richard Boone, born in Los Angeles, California, known as a black hat villain in The Tall T, 1957, Hombre, 1967, Big Jake, 1971, The Shootist, 1976, and more. Quote, "If you have to use the power to acquire to protect the integrity of what you're doing, and to do that, you have to be prepared to go all the way. If you have the strength to do that, you're in pretty good shape. The worst kind of criminal, a cultured man whose intelligence has made him contemptuous of humanity, but will use and later ruthlessly discard."
Now my problem is that she never accepts my invitation, and to you two I say goodbye.
Jack Elam, colourful character actor, equally adept at vicious killers or grizzled sidekicks, known as a bad guy in Once Upon a Time in the West and as Tevis in Rawhide, 1951, Elam plays a not-too-bright, somewhat deranged, woman-hungry, escaped ex-con who partners with a vicious gang of stage robbers, with his trademark bulging eyes, the left one unmoving, and haunted expression. He has never been spookier. He once described the career of a character actor, It went like this. Who's Jack Elam? Get me Jack Elam. Get me a Jack Elam type. Get me a young Jack Elam. Who's Jack Elam?
That's not an answer.
It never does any good to answer you.
No, not when you have to lie. You can't lie.
Jane Darwell. Missouri-born Jane Darwell was born Patty Woodard, making her stage debut at age 33. She was almost 40 when she made her first film, a silent film, in 1913. She made over 200 films. Her last, Mary Poppins, 1964, was made at the express request of Walt Disney. As Ma Greer in the Oxbow Incident, 1943. Good grief, a pre-feminist woman not only rides with the lynch mob, but helps lead it. Quote, I've played Henry Fonda's mother so often that whenever we run into each other, I call him son and he calls me Ma, just to save time. Walter Brennan, in many ways the most successful and familiar character actor of American sound films, and the only actor to date to win 3 Oscars for Best Supporting Actor. As Judge Roy Bean in The Westerner, 1940, representing the law west of the Pecos, Bean runs a kangaroo court from behind a bar in a saloon where he passes sentence, mostly hanging, on the accused, but has a soft spot for all things Lily Langtry. Brennan nabbed a well-deserved Oscar for this portrayal. Barbara Stanwyck. Stanwyck is remembered primarily as the matriarch of the family known as the Barclays on the TV western The Big Valley, 1965, as Martha Wilkerson in The Violent Men, 1955, and The Furies, 1950, as Vance Jeffords. A heartless, selfish woman played by Stanwyck as only she knows how. She tosses her paraplegic husband's crutches into the fire and leaves him to die in a flaming ranch house. Lee Van Cleef, one of the great movie villains, as Angel Eyes in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, 1965. Angel Eyes is not so different from other villains Van Cleef has played, but here he is much more sharply developed, calmly self-assured, murderous, sadistic, traitorous and remorseless. Henry Fonda, as Frank in Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. It is shocking to see Fonda completely abandon his redoubtable, socially conscious image and play one of the coldest villains in screen history. A man able to kill without blinking an eye, he gives you the creeps with just one gaze at the camera, and his every sentence leaves a bitter taste of maleficence. Gene Hackman, as Little Bill Daggett in Unforgiven, 1992. Sheriff Little Billy has a peculiar sense of justice. He overlooks the mutilation of a prostitute, yet takes sadistic pleasure in humiliating and torturing anyone he mistrusts or disagrees with. All the while, abetted by numerous armed deputies to ensure the odds are in his favour, Hackman won an Oscar for his performance. Lee Marvin, as Liberty Valance, in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962. The town bully, as noted for his flamboyant dress, white shirt, black pants, decorated black vest, and silver-handled whip. As he is for his thuggery, Marvin made the most of a relatively small part. Eli Wallach, as Calvera in The Magnificent Seven, 1960. Calvera and his henchmen, who have continuously terrorized a small Mexican village into giving them food, money, and sometimes shelter in exchange for their lives, seeks vengeance when he discovers that the villagers have hired 7 gunmen to put an end to his free lunch.
You know how much money that costs? Huh? Huh? No.
Walter Matthau, as Stan Bodine in The Kentuckian, 1955. This malevolent local businessman is the town bully whose skill with a bullwhip is unmatched. When he is showing off, he uses it to douse candle flames. When he is angry, he can and will thrash a man to make his point. A smirking, cynical gambler with a bullet embedded in his chest. He tags along with a group of bank robbers until they come across a cache of gold, after which he succumbs to greed and becomes homicidal. Nothing new here, but Widmark turns in an effective performance, one he would emulate 5 years later in Broken Lance. Bruce Dern as Longhair in The Cowboys, 1972. Hang 'em high, support your local sheriff, the war wagon. He killed John Wayne. You can't get much badder than that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check out my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.